Hi everyone. So the other day I was walking through my raised bed area and I thought it looks amazing right now. And I didn't really know why. And I wanted to learn more because my wife manages the raised bed area. So I'm going to introduce you to my wife, Michelle, and then she's going to walk you through the raised bed area that is in our garden at the end of October. Hopefully you'll enjoy learning about the edibles that we have in our raised bed area of the garden.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle, Matt's wife. This is my raised beds and welcome to Touch Grass Gardening again. Let me introduce you what we have been growing as a family in those raised beds and what are those things that I enjoy doing here. First, let me show you the layout. We have 3 raised beds. One is covered in blackberries and this is the other area that's connected with 2 beautiful arches. And we have the third one over here that has a lot of my like shorter, smaller size plants. So maybe I'll start with this one just to give you some ideas of what we've been planning. So every spring we start from scratch. We pull out everything, almost everything, and then start to plan what we want to grow this year. This year, we planted the artichoke. It actually started last winter. It died in the summer, but it came back again after the fall starts. I don't really like eating the vegetables, but I really enjoy seeing the flower, the blue flowers. So here they are. And I always wanted to create an area I call as the salad bowl. And this is kind of my salad bowl area. It has some spinach, we have some lettuce. It's just really convenient to come here, grab a few leaves and make a salad out of it. And this is the green bell pepper. It's a must-have in my garden because whenever I make something like kung pao chicken, this is a very important ingredient, and sometimes I forget to buy from the grocery. And another vegetables you can hardly tell, it's a climbing kind. It's called water spinach. The texture of this vegetable is kind of like a little bit creamy and a little bit kind of glossy. It's very interesting. I never liked it when I was back in Asia, but now in the US, I kind of miss that hometown vegetable. So I started to grow those once someone gave me some seeds. It's been growing really well. And we have a small area for strawberries. I just planted them like a couple months ago. A couple weeks ago. We haven't got any, but whenever we do, our daughter really enjoys just picking them up and snack on them. All right, now let's move on to this area. This fur-looking plant is actually surprisingly asparagus. When I saw that the roots were sold at Home Depot or Lowe's, I grabbed them and put them in the dirt. And they started small, but now they're like this very huge fern area with those plants. So when they're young, you pick them up and you can just eat like that. But when you let them grow, it becomes this fern. I also have a little bit of mint here. Whenever we make like cocktail or sometimes even cooking, I need a little bit of mint. So I always keep a little bit in a container. Don't put them in your raised bed without a container. It will take over the whole thing. And so that's pretty much what I've grown here. Oh, and one thing I missed, this is leek. Always enjoying have a little bit of this in my like hot pots or some of the stir-fry dishes to just make everything more fragrant. All right, so moving on to this arch. On both sides, I planted one Eden climbing rose. This is my favorite kind of rose. It gives the beautiful, beautiful blooms in the springtime. And you might wonder, like, why do I grow roses in my vegetable raised beds? Well, that's because this kind of rose only give out one bloom a year, a massive bloom. It will be covered in flowers. But after the springtime, when the first or second round of blooms is over, they pretty much doesn't do much. So I figured I can have this roses climbing along the arches. So in the springtime, it would be beautiful. But at the same time, my other like vine plants, like loofah we planted last year, and this year we have the gourd. It will take time to grow bigger and start to cover up the arch. So when the flowers dies on this roses, the vine plants start to take over the arch. So it's perfect timing. And let me talk about the gourd. This is what we call hulu in Chinese. I really enjoy watching them, especially in some of those Chinese shows. Like the old monks in those like Chinese period shows will use this as containers to hold water. And I never understand like why I wanted to have that in my garden, but I just thought it'd be fun to grow something climbing different each year. Last year we had loofah. We made a lot of loofah sponges out of it. We had a lot of fun. Also enjoy eating the young loofahs. So this year I want to just try something different, and this is perfect. Now it's Halloween time, it's fall time. We just harvested those and painted them to decorate our house throughout the place, and it's a lot of fun. All right, moving on to this side. I have planted several tomatoes in the springtime, and now they're taking over. They're probably needs a pruning soon. But this year I picked 3 different kinds of tomatoes and added this little chicken wire fence to help them support them when they were young, so I can like tie them. Now they're bigger and they're really kind of more rely on this pole here and the arches. They are pretty tasty, the kinds I picked, and my daughter totally enjoy coming here, snack on them, and that's kind of like a fun family activity. Other than that, I do have a few not so well healthy looking Brussels sprouts growing here. I actually planted from seeds. I think this side of the raised bed doesn't get enough sun after all this vine takes over, so they're struggling a little bit, but every year I just try to do something different to understand the behaviors of different vegetables, so I can get a better hand of them and determine where, like what I wanted to plant next year. So that's that. And moving here is actually where I planted those gourd. Again, those gourds were planted from seeds. I just throw a few here and there and thin them once they start to sprout, and in the end I kept 3 of them, and the gourds they give are slightly different. Like this one is more white looking versus the other one we saw over there was more green looking, and the shade varies a little bit too, but they're just adorable to look at when they're hanging on the vine. And fun fact about the arches, when I first started taking over those raised bed, I had this idea of envision of having arches and having flowers and plants climbing on them, but I didn't tell Matt. I just bought them on Amazon, and then it freaked Matt out. But once it started to like take shape, yeah, it's a beautiful addition to this garden, and Matt later actually requested me, if not begging me, to add another one. So now we have 2. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. Probably one last thing to show is our blackberry raised bed. We only have 1 type of plants in this bed because blackberries are pretty invasive. I just want to show you this bunch of fruits here. We're about to harvest them probably very soon if the birdie don't eat them all. That's also the fun time when all the blackberries are ready. Just non-stop snacking on them. All right, so that's all for this raised bed area garden tour. I hope you enjoy it. Again, support Matt's channel. We can't wait to see you next time. Smash that like button and subscribe. I'd love to see you again. Bye.